What's happening, everyone? I'm James Lynch, and this is a quick reaction video to the Jailton Almeida Curtis Blaydes heavyweight fight, which just took place tonight on the UFC 299 prelims. If you haven't seen the fight, turn this video off. All right, it is Curtis Blaydes finishing Jailton Almeida in the second round. Huge win for Blaydes. Let's talk about the optics of this going in. Curtis Blaydes was supposed to fight Almeida back in November. He gets the injury. Almeida fights Derek Lewis. There was a good opportunity for Almeida to get like a finish and maybe get into the title picture. That doesn't happen. He ends up going the distance. Now they rebooked the fight, only 3 rounds, which I think was kind of silly just because, you know, this has title implications potentially. They have the fight anyways, and in the first round, Curtis Blaydes was not looking so hot, right? Jailton Almeida throwing him around, getting a number of takedowns, and it just looked like, I don't know how you guys saw this, but I was watching this going, oh my God, it's going to be a long night for Curtis Blaydes. He can't stop the takedown, right? And Curtis Blaydes is known for his wrestling. But second round was a different story. Almeida shoots in, Blaydes starts landing some hammer fists, and he knocks out Almeida. This is such a huge win for Curtis Blaydes because this was sort of a make or break fight for him, right? He's coming off the loss to Sergey Pavlovich. He gets knocked out early in that fight. The theme with Curtis Blaydes, unfortunately, in his career is that when he gets those big fights where you think he's going to get a title shot, he tends to lose. He's got knocked out twice by Francis Ngannou. He got knocked out by Derek Lewis. Pavlovich, I mean, this was another opportunity for him to potentially not get over the hump. And Almeida, a lot of hype behind him and everything else. Remember, these two were supposed to fight in November, and Curtis Blaydes had the injury. Almeida fights Derek Lewis. There's an opportunity for Almeida to potentially get in the title picture with a win over Derek Lewis, but he didn't have that great of a fight. He took Lewis to a decision. He wasn't able to finish him. And so here was sort of the setup fight where Almeida could fight Blaydes, get a finish, and get a title shot, and that's not going to happen. Now, this is good news for the UFC because Tom Aspinall needs an opponent. I highly doubt they're going to keep Tom Aspinall on the shelf much longer while this whole John Jones and Stipe thing sorts out. If I'm the UFC, I do a Curtis Blaydes Tom Aspinall rematch. Their first fight was weird, right? It was an injury, basically. I mean, you can't really count that as a win for Curtis Blaydes on his resume there with Tom Aspinall. I think they need to do the rematch, and frankly, I think Curtis Blaydes deserves a title shot. Now, look, it's unfortunate they're not going to strip John Jones because if Jones is not going to fight Tom Aspinall, realistically, I don't think he should be the champion, but I understand it from John's perspective. Why would I fight Aspinall? I mean, I've done enough videos on this where you guys know my perspective on it. Let's just pretend that the interim title fight, whatever Tom Aspinall defends in his next fight, is the real belt, and do him and Tom Aspinall, Curtis Blaydes that is. And you know the UFC is going to be needing some fights coming up here on some of these bigger cards. We got International Fight Week coming up. We've got a lot of big events coming up here soon, so the UFC is going to need some marquee fights. Curtis Blaydes and Tom Aspinall, in my opinion, should be next. This was a good win here for Blaydes to get back in the wins column. And you think about who he's fought in the Curtis has pretty much fought everyone in the weight class already. It would be nice to see him get that rematch with Tom Aspinall. I'm sure for Tom as well, it still says loss on his resume. Would like to see that happen as well. Now, Jailton Almeida, it's not the end of the world. First UFC loss. He is 32, but we're talking about the heavyweight division where a lot of fighters are competing in their late 30s. So I think he'll be okay, but a bit of a step back there, and probably a good learning lesson for him as well. I mean, you know, again, you're getting knocked out by hammer fists in the second round. Probably a good idea for him to go back to the drawing board in this one. But again, huge win there for Curtis Blaydes. You love to see it. Again, Blaydes, you know, a guy that's been working really hard to get that title shot. And I think right now, you know, even though it might be an interim shot, I think he's got a good chance there. So I want to know what you guys think in the comment section below. What'd you think of the fight? Were you like me in that first round going, uh-oh, it's going to be a long night for Curtis Blaydes? So credit to him for coming back and getting the finish in the second round. Follow me on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, @LynchOnSports, and make sure you subscribe to this channel. I'm James Lynch. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.